Good morning. This is, if you don't know, this is Jason Holland. I'm the owner and travel butler at Travel Simplicity. I have with me this morning a special friend of mine from Iceland. Bjorn, welcome.
Hello. Thank you. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. It's been a while. When Bjorn first
Well.
got on here, he asked me if I was in Iceland, which with good reason. I've got this amazing waterfall behind me. In fact, this one you can walk behind. Bjorn was telling me that the difference with it being now, though, is the fact that there are people there. So now's
There
the
are no.
perfect time to travel if you don't want other tourists around, right?
It sure is. There's
Might be a
nobody
little
around.
difficult. Might be a little bit difficult getting there or coming home, but perfect time to to enjoy the waterfall.
If you can manage to get here and spend 2 weeks in quarantine, then you're good after that.
Yeah, it's good for long trips, right?
Exactly.
I have another before I want to hear your stories, but I have a couple other pictures to show. Here's one that for the longest time you should. I'm sure you know where this was. This is
Yes.
what is the name of the volcano again in this area that I could never pronounce?
It's so easy. Eyjafjallajökull.
I love
I
it.
think you I think you prefer to say E15 because it's E with 15 letters.
That's amazing. I still every time you say it, I love it. I love it. But
Eyjafjallajökull.
that's the glacier behind me, and the glacier is this is sitting on top of a volcano, isn't it?
Part of this glacier, yes. So this glacial outburst is actually in a glacier next to Eyjafjallajökull, but it almost connects.
Okay.
So this is a part of another glacier called Mýrdalsjökull, and in Mýrdalsjökull actually there's another volcano called Katla,
Okay.
and if Katla would go, then hell would be loose.
So
And
let's hope
then
that that doesn't happen.
no, but it's funny that we're meeting now because exactly 10 years ago today, or 14th actually, was the start of the eruption. So it was going on still,
I
as
didn't
in
know
10
that.
years.
We truly didn't plan that.
No. So April 14th was the first day of the explosion of the Eyjafjallajökull.
And that was and for people that don't know, that was a volcano that it erupted and ultimately ended up causing a lot of issues and flight delays and everything else going with people wanting to go to Europe.
We closed down Europe for about a week, so due to
Congratulations.
ash, due to ash going over Europe. So Madrid even and Vienna was all closed down.
And
So,
it's
but the
well, I
fun
won't
fact
hold
is,
that against you. Iceland is one of my favorite places I've ever been, and
I'm
is a
so
place that I could go back to time and time again. I absolutely love it. This is the last one I'll show.
oh, that's a good
And
one.
remember this.
Yeah, I do.
And here's my whole family, and including our son. For those of you who don't know, our son down here, he's now 5. This is a little bit ago. But Bjorn and his lovely wife Iris, and their son, and my family, and we had a fantastic Icelandic barbecue there, right in Iceland, and still one of my favorite experiences.
It was a pretty good night.
I enjoyed that very much. All right, well, I will stop talking. I'll put the waterfall back on. I do have my Icelandic bow tie. All
I
right.
saw that, and I put on my special sweater.
Ah, I see.
My
Is it
mom did
nice and
it.
warm? All right.
I'm a little bit warm, yes.
So what stories do you have to tell? What pictures did you bring?
Well, I decided to take you on a little journey,
Okay.
and coming straight from the airport. this would be about 40 minutes outside from the airport on the way to Reykjavik. So this is a geothermal place called Seltun, and it's a perfect location going either from the airport or to the airport. So instead of taking the main route to the airport, you do a little detour, since usually the flights are in the afternoon or coming in very early in the morning.
Right.
So this is a geothermal geothermal area, which is boiling hot water and mud. And it's for no use except showing you and us and enjoying the area. So
right. I just love the extremes in Iceland.
exactly.
You know, the fact that you have glaciers and you have volcanoes. You know, the fact that you have these hot springs that you can, you know, well, this isn't one of those, I'm sure, but the fact that you have hot springs all over the place that you can go in the middle of winter.
Yeah.
It's just, it's amazing. I love it. And then you have places like that, you have lush, you know, what's
this
that?
would be too hot for bathing.
Yeah, you don't want to step in there, I'm sure.
Oh, no, it's around 200 Fahrenheit.
Yeah, that would not be good. But then it looks like the moon. I mean, or what I would imagine the moon looks like.
And talking about extremes, so where the most of the steam is on the picture, going up to the mountain is crystal clear water, cold water coming from the mountain.
Oh wow!
So then that blends, and that one of the reasons because of all the smoke is because it all blends down there. So.
Okay.
So if you do a hike a little bit up there, you can actually drink a water from a water stream coming down there, and then you can burn yourself down there.
Nice.
And another extreme is talking about glaciers and volcanoes is that E15, for example, is a glacier sitting on a top of a volcano.
Right.
So the biggest threat with that is when the volcano goes off underneath, it melts a lot of ice, and therefore the water has to go somewhere.
Right.
And that's the glacial outburst and the flooding. And that often causes more trouble than the volcano itself.
That makes sense.
So moving on here, this is
so pretty.
About 7 minutes from the hot spring area. And this is just a crystal clear lake where you can either just enjoy the view in this beautiful winter day, or you can go fishing in the summer even. It's not a lot of fish, but there is.
What kinds of, do you happen to know what kinds of fish?
Mostly trout.
Trout, okay.
So this is called Kleifarvatn, and it's quite deep and quite big lake actually. And then on the bottom there, where you can see the snow right next to the water, that's a black sand beach actually.
Okay.
Underneath.
It looked smooth. It looked like it might actually have sand under there.
Yeah.
And the black sand is just absolutely beautiful. I love it. I love it.
Well, then we come down to this. This is taken.
There is a black
June
sand beach.
22nd is midnight sun. So that's when the solstice is. And this is during midnight on June 20th.
That's such a weird experience. The first time I had experienced that was in Iceland, and you just, you know, for someone that's never experienced it before, you just think that time stopped because you're like, you keep looking at the clock thinking, oh, surely the sun is going to go down and it's going to get dark, and it just doesn't happen. So then you're like up at 2 a.m. going, the sun is still up.
And that's why traveling in the summer, you can lose track of time because you can be traveling without knowing in for 12, 16 hours and you still think it's 4 o'clock in the day, but it's 10 o'clock in the evening. So it's
also helpful if you want to have a beer at 2 in the morning down on the commons in Reykjavik.
Exactly. So this is a place called Grota, which is actually just in Reykjavik.
Okay.
So this is easy to access, and sometimes when it's good in the winter, when it's good clear skies and good activity for the Northern Lights, this is a place where you could go and hopefully see it.
Oh, that would
So
be an amazing place.
instead of traveling outside Reykjavik.
The one thing, the flip side of the really long summer nights or summer days that I didn't realize is in the winter, you have really long nights, which at first it doesn't sound that appealing. But then when you think about the Northern Lights, when you think about the fact that the sun doesn't go up very high in the sky, you have really long sunrises and sunsets, which oftentimes light up the mountains that are covered in snow, purple and red. And it's just,
Exactly.
it's a different, amazing, incredible experience that I didn't think about.
And that's why Iceland is two different places actually between winter and summer. So December 22nd is the shortest day we have, and that's winter solstice. And then we have daylight, which is about 4 hours. And then it starts getting dark again. Amazing. So between 10 and 2 is the ideal time to be. But then, as you say, you have the long hours of sunrise and sunset. So it's so we have a civil time. A civil sunset is a little longer. So
beautiful. Well, and then you guys tend to decorate with all the lights and stuff too, which is nice.
Exactly.
It's not just dark, at least not in the city.
No. And then we keep our Christmas lights. If it not the lights, but the white lights we have on until maybe end of February, just to light up the day. Yeah. So
I love it.
Which is pretty nice. So I'm sure you know this place.
I do.
You do.
I couldn't tell you the name of it, but I do remember being there.
This one is called Faxi, which is probably the easiest name at any waterfall you can get in Iceland.
That's true.
So this is sitting in the middle of a salmon river, which is actually, and this is one of my favorite places actually, because there's almost nobody there. You can always get a quiet time. And you're just standing next to the waterfall. And then you can just, if you have a water bottle, you can put the water bottle in and have yourself full water bottle and drink.
It's that clean.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's so pure. So it's just an amazing place. Beautiful. It's not the biggest waterfall, but it's still quite powerful, and it's just, there's something about it. It's just, and this is on the Golden Circle, but most people don't visit it because it's not advertised that much. So this is one of the pearls that it's good to go to.
Love it.
So this is a little more touristy area, but so this is the famous geyser area, and the one spouting up is called Stokkur, and it spouts up to 100 feet in the air every 4 to 8 minutes.
Is it still doing that?
It doesn't take a break, although there are no tourists. So.
I love the fact that you have the geyser there, because geysers were originally named for, or the gentleman that named them after himself in this area, correct?
No. So the Vikings discovered this area around 1292, and geyser actually in Icelandic means to erupt.
Oh, okay.
The name of the main geyser that has been dormant for about 20 years now, the name of that is geyser, and that's where the phrase geyser comes from.
Okay. But it means
But
to erupt.
yeah, the term geyser means to erupt.
Okay, I thought that was his name. All right, I thank you for correcting me.
And then the one next to us in the picture is just a black hole down there in a boiling hot water, but it's not spouting up because there's no pressure building up there.
It's pretty amazing to watch where, you're just standing there looking at this water and then all of a sudden it starts to rumble and boil and then it just shoots up in the air. It's
Exactly. It's quite amazing. And when people don't expect it, they all scream. So it's
a little bit
it just comes out of nowhere. And that's boiling hot water. So
yeah, you don't want to step in that.
oh no. So then we continue to Thingvellir, which is pretty amazing place. And as you know, is sitting between the North Atlantic and the Eurasian plate. So this place is growing around 2 centimeters a year.
Literally new ground is just appearing.
Yeah. And right above that picture where this picture is taken there was a big earthquake in 2011.
Okay.
And it just opened up the ground. So it used to have a gravel pathway like this, but then after that they had to build a bridge because there was just a fissure down there. So now you walk over a bridge, as you remember, and down there is just a fissure that opened up in 2011. So it's very much alive.
Yeah.
And the big wall you can see is the US or the North Atlantic plate, and then Europe.
So which side is which plate?
The bigger wall that you can see.
The one on the left?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the North American.
Okay. That's amazing.
That's pretty cool. And you can walk between the two continents, so.
Such a fascinating place. Or if you want, up in Sulphur, you can actually snorkel between the two continental plates.
That's even cooler. And freezing cold too.
Yeah.
So.
Next time.
Yeah. And then also in Thingvellir is where the first parliament was set in 930.
Wow.
So the Vikings decided that they couldn't just go around killing each other and ripping off, so they had to have some laws and regulations, so they decided to have a parliament, which was pretty amazing at that time.
It is. That was a while ago.
Yeah, I know. So this is a waterfall a little bit out of the beaten track, but still not too far from the south shore and from Seljalandsfoss, which you have in background. And this one is called Gluggafoss or window waterfall. And it's two-sided, so as you can see, the people are walking up there, you can see 2 levels of the waterfall. So it's pretty cool, and also because it's a little bit out of the way, so it's less people there.
I always appreciate that. Man, that's so pretty. It's incredible. I just love the fact that you can be driving down these roads that are so black. I'm guessing because they use the volcanic rock in it. Is that why the roads are so black?
Yeah.
And it's just this really, really, stark black. And then you have the green grass and the green vegetation. And then you have these magnificent waterfalls. And it's just out, you see them out the window as you're just driving along.
Exactly. You see, and driving along in Iceland, you see hundreds and hundreds of waterfalls. And nobody has the count of waterfalls in Iceland. And then if it starts raining, you can see another waterfall just turning out because it just goes in a stream that's there. So it's just amazing. And if you love waterfalls, Iceland is a great place to go.
Yeah, for sure. You could just do waterfalls the whole time you're there if you really wanted.
You can you can do a tour of just waterfalls and just have it for days. But then again, for some, it's just another waterfall. But for me, it's every single waterfall has something special. Different shape, different landscape, different flowing. So it's all. And then some are clean drinking water, and some are glacial water. So. And then this is one of my, again, this is pretty close to Skogafoss, which is on the south shore too, but it takes a little hike.
About how long does it usually take to get back there?
Uh, Depends on if you have kids or not, but.
Okay.
I-
Yeah, but say two healthy,
Two healthy individuals, about 20-30 minutes
okay,
each way.
bad. All right.
And that's from a parking lot next to Skogafoss. So you could enjoy that with thousands of people or hundreds of people, not thousands maybe, but hundreds of people. And then you go there and most likely you're alone. Maybe 5 or 10 people, but it's less visited. So, and that's one of the beauty of it.
That's incredible. I love it.
And this one you can walk behind too.
Okay.
So, and there's another picture of it a little bit closer.
That's really nice. I know what that is. Glacier ice.
Yeah. So this has been traveling from the glacier at Jökulsárlón, the main glacial lagoon at the south shore, and then it travels in the lagoon and then out to the sea, and then it's washed up on the black sand beach out there, and then the reason why they call it the diamond beach is, as you can see, turns into a diamond-like element, and this is just ice. So it's a pretty cool place. And then this is the actual glacial lagoon.
What a dramatic landscape. It's just everywhere you look, it's something else that's calling your attention.
It is. And it doesn't matter actually where you go in Iceland. And you can do a 3 weeks or 4 weeks trip without seeing everything, of course, but then you can do multiple trips.
Right.
Different sections, and you're always seeing something new and always something different. So,
well, and on top of that, what I like is not only the natural beauty, because I mean, natural beauty is fantastic and it's hard to beat, but then, I mean, I found that the Icelandic people are so friendly. It's so easy to speak and understand English there. People don't have an attitude about it. And the food is quite good.
That's one of the things I love, especially about Reykjavik and many places actually outside in the countryside now, because there's a lot of ambition towards the food. And Reykjavik has become so foodie place. It's amazing. Yeah. And you wouldn't think that, but one of the reasons is all the good quality meat and fish and the ingredients you get. It's all fresh. It's so good.
Yeah.
So it's and that could be another trip actually for foodies, just to do a weekend trip to Reykjavik.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. I'll barbecue another lamb for you.
I could do it. My dad doesn't like lamb, and he loved that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. He talked about that for probably months after we came back.
Oh, he did? Oh, I'm glad.
Oh yeah. He loved it.
That's good. So coming back to the Glacier Lagoon, it's probably it's on my top 5 list, I guess, because it's never the same.
Mm.
You can come there each day or each week, and it's never the same amount of glaciers in the water. So it can be very little ice, and it can be just all floating with huge icebergs. So it's very different. So if you go this South Shore, for example, and you go front and back, you
Mhm.
can stop there each time, and the day after or 2 days after, and it's completely different place.
A different experience. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. That makes sense.
because it's just floating ice, so it's so alive, so much alive. So, and then this is on the way,
That is
probably
one of my
your favorite
favorite
place in
things I've ever done. Love it.
Iceland. On the way to Thorsmörk in the Highlands.
What a great picture of that too.
And in the back there, you can see Eyjafjallajökull.
It's amazing. So this is a super Jeep,
This is a super Jeep on 46-inch tires, and
which you can't
looks
tell there
like,
because it looks like the ground just swallowed it.
yeah, exactly.
It
It's,
looks like a normal sized Jeep is what it looks like, but what they don't see is that thing is sitting how far off the ground normally?
the tires are 46-inch.
46 inches. So yeah, almost 4 feet
Quite
tall.
big.
Plus the
You need you,
tires.
you need a stair to get up to the car. So,
Wow.
so if a normal car would go there, he would just be swallowed by that river.
That's amazing.
And even a mid-sized Jeep would be swallowed there. So and
Uh,
this car is actually pretty cool because it's made out of two cars. It's Ford F350 in the front and then Ford Excursion in the back.
oh,
And they extend it, and so it's pretty cool.
and you can go to places like the Valley of Thor.
Exactly. Over the big rivers and all that. So if you're inexperienced, I wouldn't go there on my own. So I would always hire someone to go there, and it's a lot more fun also just to be able to look around and experience the fun in Jeep and everything.
Well, and that's
Instead
what
of
we're here
having,
for, is to make sure that people can do that.
exactly.
Oh, excellent. Highly recommended. That is, oh, I love that.
Yeah. And then this is another place in the Highlands which is called Landmannalaugar, which is a pretty nice place, and you can go there. Well, usually you don't need as big Jeep to go there, but it helps because sometimes you have to cross some rivers. So if you're inexperienced in that, also it's better to have a good guide.
Yeah, and when you say cross rivers, you literally mean driving through a river. There's not a bridge there.
No. So this is crossing a river.
That's a little different than here.
Exactly. So there are no bridges, and you have to count on your visibility. Where's the right spot to cross the river? How do I do it? On what pace? And all that. So
Yeah,
you have to
not
know the
something to
experience.
try in a Ford Focus.
No. Oh. Then the rental company would take all your money away, I guess.
If you even got back, you'd probably be washed down the river, and
Yeah.
it's not a trip you want to have.
No, exactly. But this place is amazing for day hikes, or so you can camp out there, or you can be in the cabins that are over there, and or in the huts, and then take few hikes, or you can go there for a day trip and take a short hike around.
It's amazing.
It's a pretty cool place. So that's it for my photos.
Bjorn, thank you for sharing. That's really wonderful. What's one of the favorite, things that you and your family enjoy when you have a little bit of time? What do you like to do?
Well, we love going to the cabin for a few days. Go
Oh,
to
I
the
didn't know you
countryside
had
a
a
little
cat.
bit, and and just relax. And or what I love to do and is just travel around Iceland. And I'm very lucky that at least my older son is very good in cars, so he loves driving around too.
Good.
And so he likes exploring. So we've done the circle of Iceland with him 2 or 3 times, and
Wow.
he's only 3, so it's and then you just explore. You stop frequently and you explore everything and all that. So and there are just so many places that you can do. It's just depends on how many days you have, I guess.
You spent a lot of time there, and with good reason. Well,
Exactly.
Bjorn, I really appreciate it. It was lovely talking with you again, my friend, and thank you for sharing and inspiring all of us to travel.
It was my pleasure. Nice to meet you.